Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video, I will show you how to use the TrustedTime API in Expo React Native for Android. So let's get started. If you want, you can read this documentation which I'm showing you on the screen. The only thing is why we use TrustedTime API is that if you want to get the accurate date and time inside your Expo React Native for Android application, you can do that. I know there are JavaScript datetime APIs, but the problem with that is if the user changes the date and time on his device, then those JavaScript APIs will give you wrong date and time. The advantage of this TrustedTime API is it uses Google Play services, which is available on almost every Android device, and it also does not require any internet connection. The only caveat is, suppose if the user reboots or restarts his device, when the user restarts for the very first time, they should at least have one internet connection before they actually use our app, because Google Play services require some kind of a syncing. Behind the scene, it uses TrustedTime API, so we don't need to have a continuous internet connection. The user just need to have one, like they should have connected to internet even before using our app or during before like calling this particular API inside our app, so that Google Play services can sync the time using the TrustedTime API. Other advantages, some of you might say that we can call our own server APIs. Yeah, you can do that, but if you have millions of users, it will unnecessarily increase your server cost. So yeah, and even if suppose the user has does not like connected to internet for the first time after rebooting his or her device, then we can fall back to the JavaScript datetime APIs or the system.currentTime millis, which is like helps to get the device datetime APIs. So yeah, you can do that as well. In this tutorial, I'm like falling back to the system.currentTime milli API because we will be writing native Android code. So yeah, so first we need to create a React like Expo application. You can go to this particular URL. So I will be using this blank TypeScript template. I have also this cheat sheet created, so don't worry about this too much. So this is the blank TypeScript template. As you can see, I can just open my terminal, cd to my workspace directory, and just paste this command. So this will ask me for a project name. I'll just name it as my app 2 because I already have my app project created. That's why I'm naming it as my app 2. You can name it whatever you feel like. Then you will have to go to this URL over here, which I have given here as well. So just go to this particular URL. Okay, and here you will have to select Android device, and here you will have to select development build. Here you will have to disable EAS. Now I am on Mac OS, so select your own operating system. I have already installed Watchman. I have already installed Cas Zulu, Java Home, Android Studio as well. I've already done all the settings for Android Studio as well. Okay, I've already done this as well as this particular part. This also I have done. Then we need to run this particular command. So I'll just copy this command, and then I'll just cd to my app 2. Okay, and I'll just paste this command over here. This will install some npm dependencies. So let it do its thing. Then we need to just copy this command as well and paste it over here. Now again, this will actually create the Android folder for us. So we need to write some native code as well, right? So that's why it will create an Android folder for us. At the very end, it will fail for me, but in your case it will show you. So why this is failing is because I don't have an Android emulator installed, neither I have connected my real Android device to my system yet. That's why. But in your case, it might show you the emulator which you have installed or your real device. You can just press Ctrl C, because we are not trying to run it now because we haven't written any code, so no point in running it now. If you want, you can run it, but yeah, no point. Right? You will have to run it again. That's why. Then you can just copy this URL and go over here. So this we will need to create a native Android module. So this particular documentation helps with that. We just have to copy this particular command and just paste it over here. Now basically, okay, this you might get or might not, depending on if you're doing this for the first time and if there is any update or not. I think there is an update. I'll just press Y, and now it will ask you some questions like what should be the module name and all that. I'll keep everything as default and just press enter, 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 and let it do its thing. So it has created the project for us. Now just open that project inside VS Code. So as you can see, here is my project, and I will just open it inside VS Code. Now the thing which I will do is I will write down all the code which is necessary. I don't want to waste your time showing you how to type out each and everything. It's pretty simple. Just write down all the code and then I'll come back and explain it to you what all things I have done, and then show you guys the output as well. All right, now let's look at the code. So first you will have to go to modules, my module, go to src my module.ts, and here these three methods are present by default. I have just added one more method called get date time, and the return type is string. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Next you will have to go to the Android folder. We'll have to go to build.gradle file, and you will have to scroll at the bottom of the file. Here you will have to add the dependencies block, and here you will have to add the implementation com.google android gms play services time 16.0.1. so you make sure you at least use 16.0.1 or higher version of this play services time API. So this is just a dependency which we have to add. Then you will have to go to src main, and here you will have to go to my module.kt. Firstly, you can add all these imports which I have added. I think these three imports will be present by default, and you will have to add this all these imports. Then here I have created a class for trusted time client accessor of type which has a method of create client, and it requires returns a trusted time client. Then this class is also present by default, but inside that I have created two variables. One is this trusted time client accessor for our class, second one is the trusted time client. Then here I have defined one context as well as an activity. Then scroll down inside this module definition, which is also present by default. I have defined one on create method just to initialize everything. So here we initialize our trusted time client accessor. Then we with the help of that we create a client, add a complete listener. If it is successful, then trusted time client equal to task.result. Else we return an exception. We just display a toast message to return an exception. In this case, maybe if you want, you can send this exception back to React Native side, and in that case if there is any exception, maybe you can use the JavaScript datetime API, but I don't want to go into that. These are very like rare case which might happen in case the user does not have Google Play Game services, but it can happen. Then again, all this code is present by default. I have not changed anything. So after this particular view, I have just added this function get datetime. So this name matches our TypeScript file name, and then here we just do trusted time client.compute current unique epoch millis. In case if this fails for some reason, we are falling back to the system.current time millis, but do note that system.current time millis might give you the wrong date if the user has tampered with the date and time on his device. Then we just convert it to a proper date. We convert it to this particular format and return it back to React Native side. Also, now to use it, you just have to go to app.tsx. You just import text touchable opacity text from React Native. You can also import this module. We have this use state from React as well. So here on touchable opacity on press, we just call this my module.get datetime and just update our state, this use state, and I'm just displaying this date inside our text element. So yeah, that's it. If you want, you can check the trusted time API documentation as well, but this does not require an active internet connection. So now let's see the output. Make sure you run this output like this. Make sure you run this app on a real device. Okay guys, so here is the output. So here is our button. Now when I click on this button, here you can see I'm able to get the date time. So today is 18th of Feb and I'm able to get the correct time as well. But what if I go to the settings and try to manipulate the date time? So I'll just search for date, okay, date and time, and here I will just select this date and time. I will disable this automatic date and time. I will set the date to 2nd of Feb. Okay, and I'll also change the time to 8 o'clock. Now if I go back to my app and again if I click on get date time, Here you can see I'm still able to get the proper date time even without an internet connection. I have connected to the internet just because to mirror my device, because my Mac does not support Android USB. That's the only reason why. But like I mentioned at the start, you would require the user should have connected to the internet whenever they reboot their device at least once before reusing this functionality inside our app. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.